Good evening, Canada. We are with our set of Voice of Canada, hosted by Asphandiar Wadiwalla. I've got today two charming co-hosts. We have got a guest co-host, Josie De Leon, who has specially come for this occasion to congratulate Rechie Valdez, our MP from Mississauga Streetsville, and to facilitate us. And she has also been to our show earlier. And this is the third turn of Josie to our studio. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's start our interview. Rechie Valdez was elected a year ago from the Mississauga Streetsville riding, which is part of Meadowville also. And this is her first term. And she has really done wonderfully well at the House of Commons because she has a background of entrepreneurship. At the same time, she is from the finance industry. So we are really proud of you and we look forward you will be serving our constituents well, because still our riding is very, very diversified. We still have about 51% of Caucasians, for your information. So it's not like other Mississauga ridings where the ratio of it's very, very diverse, and we have got all the communities, and you have proved very well during your first year. So I call it as a humor. Your first report card you are going to give us, your first year's report card. So we welcome you to our show, Voice of Canada, and we hope that you will be serving the remaining 3 years. At the same time, you will be getting re-elected, and you will become a minister also in the caucus, because you are able and deserving. The reason is that you are a young blood, you have got devotion to work, and you will prove worthy for Canada and for the Filipino community. So let me point out that we have got about 2.4 million Filipinos based here in Canada. I was amazed because till yesterday I was thinking that another minority, the Chinese visible minority, is larger than you all. But when I saw the figures, no, you all are beating them. So it's a good news, really a good news that the Filipinos are so visible and they are doing so well, not only here in Ontario, but all over Canada. They are well spread. They are very, very hardworking community, and they merge and integrate into the Canadian way of life very well. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay, go ahead.
We welcome MP Rechie Valdez to our weekly talk show host, Voice of Canada. And we are very happy and proud to have you in our weekly show, Voice of Canada, for the third time now on Voice of Canada. And we welcome you once again this evening.
Josie.
So, Rechie Valdez, would you please inform us and our viewers about the private member bill in detail?
Prior to that, Josie will be introducing her, the co-host, in the Filipino language. That's the thing of this interview. Yes. And then you will continue with your question.
Okay, perfect.
No problem.
Yes, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat at welcome sa Voice of Canada. Tayo ay kasama ng ating Pilipinong MP, Ms. Rechie Valdez. Dito sa
Rechie Eileen Valdez.
Rechie Eileen Valdez. It's Rechie. Is it Rechie or Richie? Richie. Ayun. Rechie Valdez. And of course, as Filipinos, tayo ay very proud at meron tayong first Filipina MP. Magandang gabi sa iyo.
And we are truly proud. Let me add something over here, that she's our first female MP from the Filipino community over here, and that is a real honor. Earlier, we had a Filipino senator, and Verga was with us, and he served wonderful years with us. We are still friends with his family. His wife is usually with us for all the shows. Today also, we had invited Rosemar to attend our reception for Richie, but unfortunately, she is in Montreal. She sent her regrets, and I said, I will definitely convey in my show that you couldn't make it because you are in Montreal.
I know. We miss you, Rosemar.
Rosemar, because she's always there. She's a team player. And how can we forget the services of Senator Enberger? Exactly. He has done a great job for Canadians and everybody. And we are proud that he passed off while on duty in Colombia. He suffered a massive heart attack and he passed off. But God may rest his soul in peace. And we are all there for Rosemar and the girls to take care of them. They are in Canada and they deserve everything.
Exactly. Yeah. And I just want to mention that this past summer, in June, we were able to continue the tradition from Senator Enverga, and we were able to raise the Filipino flag on
Very
Parliament
good.
Hill
Very good.
on his behalf.
Yes.
I salute you all.
Yes, yes.
Amazing.
Continue the question.
Mhm.
I'll review the first part. Just that, Rechie Valdez, if you could please inform us of our viewers about the private member bill in detail, and what does your private member bill consist of? And you have marked November the 19th, each as a National Women's Entrepreneurship Day. And if you can tell us more about that.
This bill I'm particularly proud of being able to put forth just this past November. What it does is it marks November 19th as a recognition for
the
National
women.
Women's Entrepreneurship Day.
Mhm.
And it's about time that women entrepreneurs
Are
get the
recognized.
recognition that we so deserve. Currently, November 19th is being recognized in 140 countries already and
Wow.
is celebrated
Wow.
by the
You've
UN.
taken a good initiative
Exactly.
Amazing.
And so that it'll officialize it here in Canada for all of us.
and encourage the women entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Josie, you can continue.
Yeah, that's a very good project. Like even me as an entrepreneur, that is very. That's such a something that I'm looking forward to as
You
well.
can take this part from me
Yes.
because I want you to fully participate.
Yeah.
I'm the host, but you have come, so some role has to be played.
Okay.
Fifth.
So we also know, MP, that you hosted the one-on-one coffee meetings at the Tim Hortons
Mhm.
with the members of your riding. So you're fully in touch with them and know them personally
Absolutely.
as the federal MP. What kind of issues your constituents brought in your knowledge? In this
Especially
vast-
in our riding. Because
Yeah.
every riding has got its own issues, typical issues.
Yeah.
So can you point out few what did you they brought to your notice?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So a lot of because as you mentioned already, I host different things so that I can really connect with constituents.
On one-on-one.
And so I have regular coffee chats with them. And so the type of issues and concerns are about the rising cost of living,
Mhm.
affordability, particularly housing, and a lot of folks are expressing their concern about the issues around climate change and how do we address and fight those. So our government is working hard to ensure that we're supporting Canadians by addressing those concerns on a regular basis.
And even immigration.
Yes, the
Immigration is
issues do come up as well.
delays of visas and spousal applications are delayed. So we have to look into it
Right.
because all the communities, whoever are coming here, they are openly stating that the visas are taking very long. They are a bit slow due to heavy backlog. People are suffering.
Right. Now, Minister Fraser and the Immigration Department are heavily focused on ensuring that we're clearing those backlogs. And what I always recommend folks to do is to make sure they're reaching out to their MP, whether that's myself or your local member of parliament, so that we can work on your case files
Definitely.
individually, and so we can help advocate for your individual cases and concerns.
Oh, that's great.
Go ahead.
Rechie Valdez, we've observed that during your first hectic year, you organized and hosted many events from seniors to constituents of your riding. You can give us some details about that.
Sure. This is no secret, but I love hosting different events. I love bringing community together. So for National Seniors Day, I gathered our local seniors from various groups and representative groups. And Minister Kamal Khera was able to join us for
Kamal
National
Khera, yeah.
Seniors
Mhm.
Day. And then we were able to recognize and acknowledge the contributions
Awesome.
of our seniors.
Awesome.
And then within Mississauga Streetsville, I'm a big advocate for electric vehicles. So instead of
Definitely.
hosting
Everybody
a
needs the
barbecue-
electric vehicle.
Yes,
But the cost factor,
right.
Richie, the cost factor, the government has to come up, the federal at the same time, provincial government has to come up with a subsidy.
Right.
Okay, those who are buying for the first time should get sufficient subsidy to change over.
And we do provide that type of subsidy to assist with electric vehicles, middle
Federal is
vehicles and
providing,
trucks. We
But
do.
the province is not providing.
Right. So the province needs to get onto this.
The province has to come with this fast now,
Right.
take a decision because it's a need.
Right. There is a
Urgent need. The gas prices are skyrocketing.
Mhm.
And again, there are rumors that from April to June, we will be crossing $2 plus
No.
per liter.
Oh, that's
So,
right. That's
There are many
Very
people,
high.
even middle class people have raised their hands that we can't afford. We can't, because now the cars in the suburbs is necessary. It's a necessity, I would rather emphasize.
right.
We don't use for luxury or traveling or here or long drives or or Romeo drives,
Right.
either. So they have to considerably think.
Right.
Plus, at the same time, I repeat my old suggestion, what I discussed with you when you came, that we must increase the capacity of our Sanya refinery.
Oh, for
We have a
natural
refinery, yeah.
resources.
We have got a refinery in Sanya, Ontario, which is just refining 33% of its original capacity. What is stopping them? We have got the crude. We have got a huge crude, which our future generations can use. That much Canada has got crude. So what is stopping? We have to ask the federal government at the same time, who are concerned with Alberta is very, very anxious to bring our Canadian oil and gas in the local market. But there is some stoppage, which still we don't know the exact answer.
Right. But just to connect back to your question there, Cindy, so I hosted a block party. So instead of having a barbecue, within that block party, we advocated for local entrepreneurs. And then we had electric vehicle owners share. We spotlighted all the different vehicles. So you can kind of look, you can come and take a look at it, and you can actually ask your neighbor,
wow.
you know, all about their.
Where the comfort is.
They could sit and drive also?
Not drive,
That was
but you
possible?
can come in
Okay,
and
come in and sit. Okay.
Yeah, so at least you can see the different models of electric vehicles.
So you had asked which one? Tesla was here with you?
I had all different
All over.
types. Yes.
You missed me. You never told me I'm one of the buyers of electric. I'm looking for it.
Yes. So we'll continue to do it this coming summer as well. So more to come.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
MP Valdez, you're aware that the crime is rising,
Yes.
not only in our riding or Ontario, all over, but especially in Ontario and especially in our major cities of GTHA. There are heavy pickup of cars in the night, especially, which was pretty new to us. And today I was shocked to see a news in Facebook that our Ontario cars with the Ontario number plates are available for sale in Ghana. So what our law enforcement agencies and others are doing, the people who are responsible for shipping them from our ports like Montreal or New Brunswick, wherever they are port, how they cannot stop such a big vehicle. They just put into the trailers and it goes. There should be a solid check. If any cars is exported or goes, they should have this documents. And they are so shameless that they are selling those cars with our number plates. There was a picture too. And the people who have lost the cars are feeling very, very jittery. If we have lost thousands of dollars of our vehicle, the insurance companies are downgrading them with lower brands and lower models. So what is our fault that we are losing our cars going to African countries?
Yeah, no.
So you have to pick up a matter, even at the provincial level also, we are trying to take this matter strongly with the MPPs once they are back in the house.
Right.
So if chance prevails, discuss with the group of MPs in Ottawa and bring this matter up. It's a public now.
Right.
That in Ghana, our Canadian cars are there. All SUVs are available.
Yeah.
And we will, so even though that this matter does lay within the province and municipal, I'll work with my colleagues to advocate for
All three tiers of the
We have to
government
work
should
together.
work, and there should come a very strong policy should come. And not a single vehicle is exported without such and such clearance and documents.
Yes.
You have to check with excise as the owner sold it. Who
Right.
he sold to who, where it was sold, what has happened, why the vehicle is transported, on what grounds it is being transported to a foreign country. And they are practically new vehicles which have been picked up.
Right. No, myself and the Mississauga local MPs, we're going to work very closely with Peel Region Police so that we can address these concerns directly and work together with them to try to close some of
Have
these
more
issues.
open houses with the police so your constituents can come and speak what the problems are.
Right.
Town hall meetings, because that has become necessity now.
Yeah, because it's safety. It's not just, I think, car theft. It's also safety concerns, the rise of crime as a whole.
Domestic violence has increased, and there is a mental problems. So we have to really look into it. Our health issues are there coming up very badly.
Right.
The conditions of our hospitals, though I know it's not a federal matter, but the federal government has shown their willingness to extend more funds. And only it was a statement yesterday by the Premier of Ontario that is willing to accept those funds and improve our health system. And I read this morning only.
Mhm.
So let's hope something comes up,
I agree.
because the emergencies, the wait in Toronto hospitals are 12 to 14 hours.
Yeah.
And over here in Mississauga has gone to 9 to 10 hours.
Right.
Milton has gone to 5 to 6 hours.
Yes.
So it's not worth.
Yes, we will continue to provide funding to the provinces, and we rely very heavily on the provinces to ensure that they're
Definitely.
putting the money
Because
in the right
we,
places.
the taxpayers, strongly urge you, being our MP, and you being my MP too. I belong to your riding, luckily.
Yeah.
So I will emphasize to you that please take up this matter. It's a serious matter.
Agreed.
We will be taking a short break and be with you soon. Come back after a short break. You all are watching our episode of Voice of Canada, hosted by Asphandiar Wadiwalla. Today we have got two co-hosts, Josie De Leon and Cindy Young. And our honorable guest is our honorable MP, Rechie Valdez.
That's
Am I right?
If you can give us a brief account of the important bills and motions that are pending to be moved forward in the House of Commons after our winter vacation is over and our MPs are back in Ottawa.
What I'm looking forward to is, so we had just passed this past term, the dental plan
Mhm.
for those
The NDP's dental plan.
for kids under 12. And what we're going to be focusing on is expanding that dental plan to include seniors.
Wow.
And I think that's a
Awesome.
huge step so that we can be inclusive to those seniors and providing them with a dental plan. That's really huge. I already mentioned my private members bill. So if all goes well, it'll be passed before the end of the term.
Very good.
I think we're really just going to continue focused on ensuring we're facing and assisting with affordability for homes, and of course reducing the backlogs which we talked about regarding immigration.
Thank you. It was a very good account you gave. I would again repeating the question about our health sector. We want you to take this matter very seriously and off and on have consultation with our provincial MPP and even the city. Okay, what is being done? Because usually the health system is with the province.
Right.
But the federal government always give grants and all that stuff, so you can make them accountable. Okay, why the people are suffering and your constituents are constantly coming and saying that we are not getting adequate facilities on health sector. Plus, at the same time, currently, our pharmacies have become another issue. There are heavy shortage now for adult drugs. So many adult drugs, the seasonal drugs like the flu and all that stuff are heavy shortages there. And for weeks together, we are not getting the NyQuil and syrup, nor the tablets or the capsules. So what is being done? Why the Canadians are suffering when we are being charged from our nose? We are heavily charged. Canada is a heavily charged tax country. So we have a right to ask our legislatures that some action should be taken very strongly
Yes.
on this front.
And so Minister Duclos and the ministry are working really hard to ensure that we're procuring the medicines on time and be able to ship them for Canadians. Of course, because the demand right now is very, very high. And to your point, Minister Duclos and his ministry continue to advocate to work with the provinces to ensure that we're advocating for the funds being placed into the right places.
And in future, if time permits, the minister, if they call them to our riding, so we can have a meeting. And if constituent can speak for themselves and they know okay, what you are trying to explain to them is true and the people are suffering. And we can merge two ridings together and the constituents can come and give
that's a
their
great
peace of
idea.
mind.
Yes.
You
And
know?
Minister, his ministry is very, they're very amazing to work
So
with.
just try
and they're
to
very
get a
sure.
date from the Minister of Health. So and then we can even invite the provincial Minister Health to
then
come
work
and
together.
so both of them can give answers. We are not asking for any accountability or we are catching them by the neck. We want some answers, positive answers. What actions are being taken so the
Sure.
problems are solved?
Yeah, it's a great idea, Asmi.
Thank you. Richie, another problem you may be aware or you're not aware because you know we have got a huge influx of South Asian population in your riding also. And among that, Pakistanis are also quite visible,
Yes.
especially in the Meadowville area. Recently, as a community activist and an old-time political worker, I have received so many complaints especially from Pakistani families. They are Canadians. They are here for 20 years. The cases you won't believe, will be shocked. And their children are born here. They are Canadians, but they are not granted visa to go to India. They don't want to go to India for tourism or any other purpose. There are certain communities which has got some religious obligations, families, relationship, functions to attend, and all those factors. And even those cards are given, invitation cards are given, everything possible. And I can swear that I worked very hard with the Indian Consulate General. She came to my show. You must be aware. Apruva, Consul General, she was here with me. And that time also she assured me on air that she will look into it. But the two families, they had to get really disappointed and they canceled their visits to India. And that is really, really very shameful for us, because we are Canadians. Why they are labeling us as Pakistanis or whatever, if they don't get along. At the same time, I've got complaints from the BC, also Vancouver and BC, that the Sikh population are suffering in the same manner. The visas are not being granted. And for this reason, CBC had a survey. Recently, a survey was there. It came on air that what is the issue. So now the time has come that, or otherwise, if you ask me, we can come to Ottawa and explain the positions to the caucus members. Sitting caucus members, because I've done in the past, when such acute problems happens, you just arrange a meeting room for us and the caucus members who can answer the question, those who have suffered at the hands of Indian Consulate. And I strongly believe that we Canadians should not suffer, because we are the privileged people, and we have got a right to travel without visa to 185 countries. And our Canadian passport is among the 8th in the world, the strongest 8th passport. So this is really, really, we can't help the genuine cases. The families which are concerned families, one day I'll try to take time from you and bring them so you can hear from their own mouth. They work, they are on responsible positions, a zero criminal record. The children are born in Canada. So they are asking them to send the children to Pakistani consulate. They don't know them. They are Canadian born. What credentials they have got at the Pakistan consulate? Get this letter, get that letter. It's all lame excuses. So this summer, they have crossed all the limits. But I got the news that the Consul General is now leaving. The new Consul General will be coming. I'll also take a first opportunity to call on the new Consul General. At the same time, I will be requesting you to also take up the matter, because this matter has become serious now.
Yeah, I've heard it. So I set up.
You must have heard from especially from the Pakistani and the Sikh community. So we are all one. We are not particularly advocating for a particular community. If there is any problem in the Filipino community, I'll be the first one to raise my voice, or any other community, because we believe ourselves as Canadians. So we should be treated as Canadians.
Yeah, what I'll say to that is two things. I've heard the same thing, because every month I set up like a booth at a local mosque, and that way they can always come and access me and ask me any questions or raise their cases. And so what you've said, I've already heard.
And I've got 2 cases, and I went personally to the Indian Consulate 2-3 times. But believe me, this was the first time in my life in politics that I failed. I've never failed. Whatever I've tried to put, the target was I've achieved. Back home as well as in Canada. I can go to the House of Commons and meet the caucus in 1 week's time. I'm a man of that person.
Right.
And I've done it.
Well, what I always advise, so I'm going to go back to what I said before. Every case is really unique, and it's important to engage with your local MP. I might not be everyone's MP, but
they
to
do.
engage with the local
MPs gave the
MPs.
letters. They are doing the level best. They are not listening to anybody. So this matter now is to be taken up with the High Commission of India.
So I met the High Commissioner already, Sanjay Verma.
Okay.
So I will continue to advocate along with.
Please
my
try.
colleagues.
You were here in your constituency, and you you can refer our Voice of Canada, and they strongly sent an appeal to you to look into the cases, why the Indian Consulate is harassing them practically. And even in one case, an Indian national who are Canadians, they were refused visa for 3 to 4 months. Then when I intervened, They were asked to come at they are not supposed to go to downtown office. They have got a Brampton office, collection office,
Right.
the Indians with OCI or something like that. So they submit them and they get the visa in months time or 1.5 months time. But the mother was really sick, 95 years old mother was gravely sick, and they were not getting visas. And I was knocking all the doors. And just now, only last week, they went to India with great difficulty.
Right.
And I thank God rather, God has helped us. They are in India. If anything would have happened to the boy's mother, they would have never forgiven themselves. They could not reach on time. And why the Indians OCI has been cancelled? That also we have to ask them. The Indians have, the Indian citizens with due, what you call, they have the permission to go for 5 years, 10-year visa they've got.
Right.
They were cancelled.
Interesting. But
Yeah.
either way, like I think individual cases, that's where we can influence.
In case, and if you, whenever you have got time and you deem fit, I can bring the genuine cases, and from their own mouth you can hear them
Yeah,
out,
absolutely.
and we can make a case.
Yeah.
And you can forward it to
Yeah,
High Commission.
my team and I are always.
So
open
you can
to
forward it to
listening.
High Commission, not the consulate.
Right.
You know, because you are a federal MP, and we will ask the local, our provincial MPP to also be there when
Yeah,
we have a meeting. So that will be more fruitful.
I think, Richie, you were also aware that since last year, many of our Canadians are suffering from mental health problems due to so many factors confronting them from day to day. Is there any concrete action that you have taken in this direction?
Yeah. So from a mental health perspective, we all know, particularly after the pandemic, so many of our youth and many different individuals have suffered mentally. And I'm proud that our government made it a priority. And in 2021, we elected, we put a cabinet position specifically focusing on mental health and addictions, and that's Minister Carolyn Bennett. And all the work that she's done so far has been really focused on ensuring there's funding available and meant for mental health supports. And we introduced an app which is really great. It's a PocketWell app. This app is available to all Canadians 24/7, and it really I use it. It's really great to go through the app and really does a check on your mental health on a daily basis. It's a really, you can download it right now, and it's accessible 24/7, and you have access to all the resources through the app as well.
What is the app called?
PocketWell.
Send your
Pocketwell.
newsletter.
Sure.
So I'll appreciate if I get your newsletter. I'll be able to communicate
no
to our
problem.
constituents.
Sure. It's called
So
the
as and when
PocketWell
needed.
app.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm coming back to the problems which we are facing, the Canadians. 7 times interest rates have been raised in Canada by the State Bank of Canada. That is the highest in last 20 years or 2 decades or 3 decades, I would
Right.
say. And now the time has come that many Canadians have raised their hands. They are unable to pay the mortgages. So where we are going to lend? Our question is, and many are asking, they have started doing a second part-time job to put food on the table, and they are struggling very hard.
Right.
They can't provide a full meal to their family.
Yes.
Some families, even you won't believe, reduce their one meal. They have light snacks in the afternoon, and only in the night they have a full meal.
For sure.
That cases also come. I'm connected to Peel District School Board, and I do visit schools, and I especially visit during lunch hours to assess the situation.
Right.
And I found average every second or third class, 2 or 3 kids, they don't bring breakfast.
Right.
The reason then when we inquire from the child, it's not that the child has forgotten or the parent has forgotten to put the breakfast in the bag. They don't have food to give.
Right.
But they are so ashamed that the child gets all hyper, hungry, and starts crying. For that purpose, I advise the school management to keep some food in the storage in the office, like pizzas and soft drinks and some fruits and apples and all. So such child they can give to such children.
Right.
And some 2-3 schools have already started doing it in Mississauga, especially our riding.
Right.
I can say Osprey has started, Lisgar has started, you know, but that is a serious matter to note.
I agree. And I'm very proud of the actions we've taken as a government to really help Canadians with affordability. We've doubled the GST tax credit for the next 6 months, which is incredible. That puts more money back into the pockets of Canadians. Thing I'm particularly proud of is the $10 a day childcare. I know as a mom, like when I went into work, I had 2 kids. They were all in daycare. So we've been able to slash fees for some parents in half, which will allow them to
Takes a lot of pressure off.
But there will be
does.
sufficient capacity, because if the capacity is not there, then they will be on the waiting list.
But we have also, part of the funding will also go towards increasing the capacity within local daycares
Very good,
as
very
well
good.
across the
Keep up
country.
the good work, because I would say again, not only criticize the current ruling party, but I say during pandemic, they have done a fantastic job.
Yeah,
They
supporting
played a very,
Canadians.
very positive role. They paid cash help to each and every family, and majority of the millions of people, Canadians, took help,
Yes,
and they survived the COVID-19 severe crisis.
exactly.
Whereas in many other countries of the world, they were not given any financial aid or support.
Very
Plus,
different out there.
our legislatures, they work day and night on all 3 tiers of our government. They went, supply food, they knocked the doors, they helped the seniors, they helped the veterans, and all the stuff has been done. So we are truly proud Canadians and blessed to be in Canada.
Exactly. And I don't know if you read the newspaper lately, but I'm particularly proud of the fact that from a bounce back from where economy was from
Yes.
pre-pandemic to post-pandemic, we have more women now who are working in the workforce than ever before, which is
Definitely.
incredible.
And slowly, the unemployment ratio is also decreasing,
Yes.
and people are getting work, but the pay is not sufficient. That is now another
Because of
issue.
inflation.
They are working, inflation is killing them. And you won't believe, today it's the news in the newspaper and in our media that many people who have booked the condos, especially in downtown, are asking the constructors to return them. They won't be able to pay the balance, but they won't be able to pay the mortgage.
Right.
So they are asking to take back those things, and if they can refund their deposit amount. So there is going to be a severe crisis.
For sure.
And already the housing sector is also in crisis. There's increase in people who are renting now. At the same time, they are not paying, the renters are showing eyes to the landlord. So we can't open charitable homes, the landlords.
Oh, well, yes.
So you will have to have a meeting with the landlord tenant board also in Mississauga, because they just take the one-sided decisions they give in favor of renters. So we have invested millions of dollars in our properties, not to give a free home. They can go and stay in the shelter, or government should provide them a shelter. We have not opened a shelter when we rent. There is a need. That's what people hire to keep the renters. So something should be done, because where the inflation rate is over 12-15%, the board allows only 2.2% increase in rent.
So we had recently released that we are supporting those renters by providing a $500 relief for them, so that at least
But
they
once
can.
is not going to help, Richie.
But it will
Just-
help in terms
Just
of
a
the
once
millions of
little help. It's a
Canadians.
very, very
Right.
minute help. $500 is nothing these days. When we go for our weekend grocery shopping, we are spending much, much more.
Right. But we are trying to provide relief in many different areas to assist with Canadians. That's one.
No, that
But
is
there's
good.
still
That
many
is
other
good. At
things
least
that we're able
something
to
is
do.
being done
Mhm.
in this crisis. Go ahead.
So we'd like to give you your ending comments and advice to your constituents and Canadians in general, what the federal government is doing to solve the problems of our retired seniors and veterans as they are suffering badly under these acute conditions that we're all experiencing.
I have a soft spot for seniors and
Yeah.
veterans, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but I serve on the Veterans Committee.
Awesome.
Um,
And I see you at the Remembrance Day too,
Yes.
serving the veterans.
So I do have a soft spot for them. And from a veterans perspective, we on the committee, we have the responsibility of studying very important studies so that we can put forward real recommendations for our government to take action to support veterans. But as I mentioned before, for our seniors, we're providing them with the support. We recently increased their pensions by 10%. And we're going to continue to take action to assist them in whatever way we can.
But I would request you all to have the direct contact with the grassroots level,
Oh, for sure.
which is becoming very, very necessary now.
Mhm.
That touch the grassroots people, find out whenever you are here in your constituency try to keep few hours, the constituent knows if they have got severe grievances, they can knock your doors, they can come
Yeah,
to your office,
My door is always
discuss. So keep on informing all of them that you're most welcome. If you've got any serious problems, we are there to look after. But-
Speaking of which, I recently moved my office into Streetsville at
Mhm.
8 Baden Lane, which will make us more accessible.
Yeah, that's a very
downtown.
central
So,
place.
yes.
All the former legislatures had the offices where you are now. So that's a very central place now where you have come now. So we are happy about it. The change is good for you,
Exactly.
but I hope the pressure will be much more.
Well, yeah, it's fine. I can handle it.
So would you like to now address your Filipino communities, 2.4 million Filipinos, that you have completed your first year in the office as the first woman MP in Canada?
Yeah, salamat po sa inyong lahat. I appreciate all the support, all the warm messages and wishes you continue to provide me. Thank you to Voice
It
of
was a
Canada,
pleasure.
Josie, Cindy, and Aspie. It's really these types of connections that are really important.
It's
to
the
me.
most necessary.
Yeah.
And you have taken an initiative and you came, you accepted the invitation, for which we are thankful to you.
Yes.
I mean, I'm thankful to Josie,
Thanks,
thankful
Thank
to
you.
Cindy
Cindy.
for coming and contributing your best for our viewers.
And Shane.
And Shane also.
Yes.
Shane, you gave us a good entertainment. We had so many dry questions. So you made us smile. You made us really smile and put some spice into our show. So with that note, I would request Josie also to address in Tagalog the community, a strong message to the community and Canadians.
Yes. So, maraming salamat
Wow.
sa iyo.
I love it.
Rechie Valdez, at bilang Pilipino, hindi ba tayo ay very proud to have our MP here. As a Filipino, talagang making waves sa
She is
sa kanyang
creating a
ginagawa.
history, you know.
Sa kanyang ginagawa.
She's rocking.
Sa kanyang ginagawa. So, very proud kami sa iyo. Just keep up the good work. And yes.
Keep up the good work.
Salamat.
Be visible, and we are all there behind you. You have got a very strong support. You have got good constituents rather. So do your best.
Thank you. I will. Thanks, everybody. And thank you to Voice of Canada as well and Awaz Entertainment.
So we would be signing off with this week's episode. We'll be your host Asphandiar, Wadiwalla, co-host Cindy Young, our special guest Josie De Leon, our honorable guest MP Rechie Valdez. Thank you once again. Do keep coming as and when you need any media support. All of you know that we are there to voice our concern for Canadians. That's why we say God bless Canada, God save our King. Thank you. Goodbye. Good night.
Good night.
One with.